I got it.
All right. Okay, start us off. Good morning, Unity of Walnut Creek. Please rise and body your spirit. Get ready to sing. How's everybody doing at home? How's everybody doing here? I'm practicing playing at the same time as talking. It's not my strength. We all got to work on our weaknesses and bring them into strength. It's all in there. It's all in us. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Look into the mirror. What do you notice? Who do you see? God's own expression manifesting, perfect and holy. I am pure and perfect. I am wonderful. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. I am free and endless. I am beautiful. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. Look into the mirror. What do you notice? Who do you see? God's pure potential manifesting, holy and fully. I am free, pure and perfect. I am wonderful. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. I am free and endless. I am beautiful. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. Look into the mirror. What do you notice? Who do you see? God's own expression manifesting, perfect and holy. I am pure and perfect. I am wonderful. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. I am free and endless. I am beautiful. I am love, love, love. Oh, I am love, love, love. One more time. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. In the mind of God. In the mind of God. Yeah! Yes, you are.
Good morning. Welcome to our Unity of Walnut Creek service. My name is Laurel Patterson.
And my name is Bob Hardy, and together we are... Oh, no! Wrong script.
Whoops.
My name is Don Shaw. Well, we, and when I say we, I mean I, forgot Birthday Sunday was last Sunday, and we didn't recognize our birthdays that last week, so we're going to do it today. So if you are born in the month of October, please stand so we may shower you with love and song. Everybody's born in October.
We want to greet and bless everyone who's watching online. Your presence adds to our spiritual community, and we are so grateful that you're with us. Thank you for joining us today. Please join me in welcoming our featured musician, Simon Russell. He's joined by Dusty on bass, Dan on drums, and Lisa is our Unity song leader today. Thank you all for sharing your music with us.
Reverend Kristen will deliver today's message, and today's message is titled, Your Abundance Blind Spots. And I'd like Reverend Kristen to come to the stage. Because, as so many people have been mentioning to me lately, today is, anybody? Pastor Appreciation Day.
Of course. Wow, those are beautiful. So, Reverend Kristen, I think it's fair if I say, from the congregation, we offer you.
You might want to say it here so the people online can hear you. Yeah, we want them to hear the good stuff too, right?
So, from the congregation, it's like we so appreciate you. And we appreciate you, it's like because you walk your talk. And to have that example standing up most Sundays for us, giving us a message, knowing that you're working it yourself is phenomenal. And it encourages us to do the same.
Amen.
So we thank you.
So pretty.
So let's put that slide back up, and we have a little blessing for Reverend Kristen. You're familiar to everyone. Reverend Kristen, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you.
Wow, thank you. Bless you. Thank you so much.
And at 9:30, that was a surprise, and it was a great acting job for the 11:30 service. Acting surprise. We didn't put it in the script. It really was a secret.
Before we begin, I invite you to turn your phones to silent as we enjoy this sacred service together.
Let's take a moment to be grateful for the land that our center rests upon. This is Bay Miwok and Ohlone land.
We honor the Bay Miwok people and the Ohlone people of today and are grateful for those who were stewards of this land before us. We commit to taking care of these sacred native grounds and of all Mother Earth.
And I know we have some newcomers here today because it's Bring a Friend Day. And so here's the essence right here. This is what unity is. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. Our vision for the world is, and let's say this together. We're going to say this together when the slide pops up. We're envisioning something right now. That's it. We envision a spiritually awakened world where all life thrives in conscious oneness.
And our mission is who we have come here to be. Let's say this together.
We are a loving, inclusive community, expanding and living our divinity in sacred service for all.
Our core values are love,
Connection, service, and wisdom. Well, if you are here for the very first time, welcome. We're glad to have you here. And if you feel comfortable, please raise your hand so we can give you a welcome packet if you're here for the first time. I see a hand over here. Here's a friend, and there's a friend in the back. So we invite you to join us in the patio after the service. Also visit the Welcome Center Bookstore Cafe where we have a small gift for you. And today we also have a little gathering at 1 o'clock. We'll announce later, but new to Unity. You might want to come in and stop in for that too. There'll be some light refreshments.
Sounds good. And Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. Connection cards are available in the newcomer packet as well as in the seat pocket in front of you, and these are for everyone. With this card, you may submit a prayer request, and our prayer team will pray with you throughout the week.
You may also request feedback, or share feedback, or request information, and please place the card in the basket with the offering. For those of you viewing online, connection cards are available on the Watch Live page of our website.
Announcements, announcements, announcements! We have several activities to highlight this week.
Are you new to Unity or returning after a long absence, or willing to welcome people to Unity who are coming back or are new? Join us today at 1 o'clock in the community room for our New to Unity welcome. Enjoy light snacks as you make new friends and learn about Unity. And this is really just a sweet thing. It's a circle. People introduce themselves, just say a couple words about themselves, and we get acquainted and learn some names and have a good time.
That'd be a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
So we have a new Wellness Wednesday offering designed for individuals experiencing sorrow from loss of a loved one. This support group provides a compassionate space for the newly bereaved and those grieving for a longer time. We gather to offer mutual support through authentic sharing, listening, witnessing, and guided discussions, all fostering a greater sense of connection and community. Facilitator Veronica Wolf intimately understands the intense pain and complex journey of grief. As a bereaved mom and certified grief coach and a grief educator, she empathizes deeply with your loss and is here to support you. Come to this safe and compassionate group space to build connections, gain insight, explore grieving tools, and develop coping skills.
That's going to be a very meaningful group, and I'm so glad that this is happening at our center. So we're going to wrap up Unity's 2024 concert series with a fun evening of jazzy grooves and inspiring stories. All of you regulars are very familiar with Janet and Narayan, or Narayan and Janet as they are also known. And they are having the best time of their lives and are excited to share their stories and songs about how to get unstuck when life gets sticky and embrace the uncertainty of change. This special evening is Saturday, November 2nd at 7 p.m. That's just the day before the annual meeting on Sunday, November 3rd, so that's already on your calendar. It's here in the sanctuary, so it's inside. Tickets are $25 for general admission, and you can purchase those in the bookstore today, or you can purchase them at the door. Don't miss it.
Sounds good. Choir is back in session. Yay! Whether you're a pro or just do solo concerts in the shower, come share your voice and raise the vibration in beautiful and fun ensemble singing. We start in 2 weeks on October 24th, mark your calendar, meeting on Thursdays at 7 p.m. As one of our new members said, I am nourished by the choir community and the opportunity to sing together. See music director Lisa, or sign up outside at the tables.
And choir is a great way to get acquainted with a new circle of friends in Unity, so I invite you to come. I'll be there. So that concludes the ordinary, everyday announcements, the ones that don't require any special fanfare. But this next announcement does require a special fanfare. I told you! Introducing Madam Marvel!
Good morning. I have for you a very special invitation that I will read real quickly. I am here on behalf of the Wizarding Council of Unity of Walnut Creek to present to you this invitation. You are hereby and cordially invited to the Enchanting Wizards Ball on Saturday, October 19th at 6 p.m. Feast like a troll, party like a hobbit, and dance like a pixie. Take a chance to win one of the overflowing raffle baskets filled with fine wine, luxurious chocolate, soothing spa goodies, and so much more. There will also be a silent auction with psychic, tarot, chakra, aura readings, Reiki, massages, spiritual life coaching, and an abundance of other marvels. Indulge in a decadent dessert auction and enter the super raffle. The Wizard's Ball is your chance to give to Unity generously. Get your tickets today out on the patio or on the website. And please note that this year we will not be offering wine or beer, but you're most welcome to bring your own bottle, and we will have glassware, soft drinks, and so on. And corkscrews. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Can we have the fanfare again, Dave? That's all right. We don't need a fanfare to leave.
Well, that event is like so much fun. Don't you have fun when you go there?
Well,
Unbelievable fun, right?
costumes are not required, but they're encouraged, and I will be wearing a costume. I will be in a fairy costume. So I think that's worth the price of admission right there. So for more information, you can check our website or the registration tables out on the patio. As we prepare for our time of meditation, I invite you to take a conscious breath. And maybe one more conscious breath. And please join me in affirming our statement of faith together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. We begin with music, followed by guided meditation and silence.
This is a beautiful song by Rabbi Schlomo Carlbach, and it ties in with the theme of the service, and it's also especially fitting as we have just concluded the Jewish high holidays. So sing along if you wish. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul.
breathe ourselves back to the land of our souls. Returning to the space of infinite love. Abundant life. Every breath an opportunity to return again to the truth within us and to the deep, deep love that is here for us. Let's rest in this home space in the silence. I am at home in my wise body, at home in the infinite presence of love, at home in the divine mind, having returned to the land of my soul. I do not have to leave once I get up and move about the earth, but dwell here at all times. So it is.
return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul.
Spirit, flow through me like a melody, ancient and brand new, 'cause the song is you. May all people hear, strange, so sweet and clear. Let your joy come through, for the song is you.
I will be the instrument you play. Bring your sweet music to me every day.
For the joy that we know to be in the flow.
In the flow,
Every note rings true.
the
The
song
song is you.
I will be the instrument you play. Bring your sweet, sweet music to me every day.
And the joy you know
Ooh,
in the flow.
in the flow,
Every note rings true.
when the
Song is you. Every note rings true. If the song is you.
Well, hello again. You've multiplied again. Isn't it good to return to the land of our soul? I could really feel that in the room as we sang that together, familiar for some. So there's a story about these two young boys. They're 8 and 10, and they're known to be very mischievous in their town. And so the mom kind of is at her wit's end at some point. Like, what am I going to do with these kids? And so she goes to her pastor, who's a really big, sort of formidable physical presence with a big booming voice. And she says, can you talk to my boys? And he says, yeah, I want to talk to them individually. So he calls in the youngest. And he says in his big booming voice, where is God? And the boy says, nothing, because he's frozen with fear. And so he just kind of looks around and he doesn't say anything. And so the pastor says a little bit louder, where is God? And the boy is now, just really, really scared. And so he's looking down, he's not saying anything, he's sort of, fidgeting. And finally the pastor gets up in his full stature, even puts a finger in the boy's face and says, where is God? And the boy just runs out of the office screaming, runs all the way home, runs up the stairs into his room, slams the door in his closet, and just sits down shaking. I know, sad, right? I heard somebody go, oh. And his older brother comes home and opens the closet door and says, what are you doing in here? And he starts gasping for breath, and he says, we are in really big trouble now. He said, they lost God. And they think we did it. Does sort of feel sometimes like we lost God, doesn't it? Do you ever feel that way? Of course, we know that's not possible, right? It's not possible to lose the connection with the one that we always have. Yet our perception can tell us differently. And then when we're in that perception, we might even start looking for scapegoats, right? A little blaming going around for how we got off track. But the thing is, we can know this idea because we talk about it all the time in Unity, don't we? Where God is, I am, we're one with this, we're one with the source. And it's one thing to talk about it or to even affirm it and say it and think we believe it all up in here, right? It's a cognitive idea or a theory and maybe even something sometimes we feel in our hearts, but to really know it in our hearts, that's a distinction, isn't it? To know that is an inseparable part of us, this source of all goodness. And when we say goodness, we mean anything you want to fill the blank in with goodness. Goodness isn't like good, bad, relative. It's like an essence of permeating goodness in the world. It's harmony at times for us, or it's peace for times for us, or it's love, or it's connection, or freedom, or whatever it is that we might be longing for and feeling a little distance from. We step back in, we return to the land of our soul, we come back home, and we remember again. And so that we want to bridge whatever disconnect there might be from just a mental knowing or mental speaking to really knowing, feeling it, sensing it, having that space in us. And there will be times, right, along our journey, there will be times that we drift off the path and we go into dark places of scarcity. Or there have been, I'll say, up until now, there have been those times most of us can relate to in our lives. It doesn't have to be our reality. If we don't forget, if we stay centered, if we stay in the knowing, if we stay in the land of our soul, there's nothing to return to because we're just hanging out there all the time, right? In that infinite presence of all the goodness that we could have. And as human beings on this journey, we are likely at times to drift away, to think we've lost God, to get that sense. So this second week in our Abundance Project, this is the Abundance Project, really. This is the essence of the Abundance Project. We're using this book throughout our fall series. We have some study groups going on. We still have some of these books, I think, in the bookstore. So for the next 7 weeks, we started last week, we'll be talking about the concepts in this book. I mean, he could have written it in about one sentence, but we need, I don't know how many pages, probably 247 pages to hear the same thing over and over again. It's why we come back every Sunday, right? To hear the same thing over and over again. It's why I keep doing these sermons and reading these books and sitting in prayer around this, because it's not a one-time thing. That's why we return to our soul over and over again, because we're on a journey of remembering and forgetting, and remembering is the key, that the source is all there is. And it's not just something outside of us, it's something inside of us. These are not things we learn in school. Did anybody learn these ideas in school? No. So it's, unless we've been introduced to it, even though it's in our DNA, it's in us, these knowings, this connection. There's a feeling, there's a resonance in us, right, when we first get introduced to these kinds of things, where we say, oh yeah, that feels right. Has that happened to you along the way on your spiritual journey? Maybe you've come to some places and it's like something just doesn't feel quite true for you or resonant for you, and then you come into, maybe it's Unity, and you say, oh, I feel like I'm home. I had a lot of people describe their experience like that. And that's what it's like to come back to the soul, home, back home to a sense of love and peace and security and all that good stuff. So today what we're looking at is the abundance blind spots, the places when we do get off track and we don't even necessarily know we're off track, or we know we're off track but we don't know why. We don't know what it is that we're not seeing because it's a blind spot, right? So we got to get a sense of a larger perspective, right? If you're driving down the road and somebody is in your blind spot, I think you have to have an old car for that to happen, right? I had a Honda 2003 up until recently, so I got the blind spot thing. But if so, you got to look in a different angle, a different way to see the full perspective. And so it's that understanding, it's that recognition that we are looking to illuminate these abundance blind spots. You could call them abundant BS if you want, because that's, and that maybe will make you remember them. Because it is that, right? They're just false beliefs. They're just ideas that aren't true. And so we're illuminating them, and then we're going to reverse them. Sound good? You want to do this? All right. So we're going to look at 3 of the 5 this week and 2 next week. This is all out of chapter 2 if you're following along in the book. So this first one is really the big umbrella. This is one we talk about a lot, I think. It's the one that everything fits under, essentially. It's like when we're off, this is it. This is the one. And it goes like this. We are separate from our good. Or you could say we are separate from our God. And then he goes on to explain it more specifically in the context of abundance. And we must get it, achieve it, and attract it. Now you say, well, don't we talk about attracting our abundance all the time? Yes, we do. And we'll get into that in a moment. So if you think you might have this blind spot, here are some of the signs and symptoms he lays out for us. Feeling of incompleteness, a feeling of insecurity, a feeling of not being supported, a feeling of not being worthy, a feeling of not being incomplete, or feeling of not being complete or incomplete. Or you might be putting your happiness off into some future goal. So you're always focusing on, I will be happy when, and then you fill in the blank, what that future goal is when that's achieved. Or perhaps you're in a space of comparing, judging, less than, more than, I'm less than, more than, or this person is less than, more than, or whatever it may be. Overworking can be one of the signs and symptoms, or believing that you must constantly push and struggle and sacrifice to get what you want. So if you have any of these signs, you might be experiencing some of this abundance blind spot. So let's go back to the law of attraction for a moment, because we talk about that one all the time. The third principle is a part of that, co-creating life, right? So it's this idea that we are attracting our good to us. The issue that he's talking about is that when we have the focus outside of ourselves, we're focusing on the thing we want to attract, right? So that's where maybe we tend to put our attention and our perspective, and where the good is, where we generate it, where it comes to us is from within, right? So it's the knowing within ourselves that whatever it is that we're attracting is already here. We have it in abundance. Now you might say, well, if it's a house or a car, I'm not really getting that because I don't have that inside of me. Clearly not, right? But what you do have inside of you is what would you have if you had that thing? I mean, a house, that's something that's like a big one for a lot of us in this area, right? So let's take that one as an example. If you want to have a home, it's not that you're just focusing on the home, that thing outside. It's not that you're spending all your time on Zillow and that's how you're attracting it, right? You might have to do some of these steps, but the key to attracting is inside. The key is, how do I feel when I have the house? Why do I even want the house? I want comfort. I want sanctuary. I want a sense of ease. I want that sense of abundance for years to come. I want a sense of security, a sense of home, right? I want to return to the land of my soul every time I open the door to that home. Whatever it is that is like drawing you, that's where the good is. That's where the generation of the attraction happens. And so it's settling into that space and that feeling nature that is what actually creates the experience that we want to attract to ourselves. So even with some of our spiritual laws, we can get distracted by the outer and miss what it is that we're working with on the inner. It all comes back to source. It always all comes back to source, right? It always comes back home. All of our problems are really based in this abundance blind spot, in this idea that we are separate from spirit. And so it's getting into and recognizing the damage that can happen by believing this and moving ourselves into the experience of our oneness again and again and again. I do feel a bit like a broken record, I have to admit. I just got to come clean here. It does feel, and the book feels a little bit like that too. And I feel like I need it. After all these years, right, of learning about prosperity, of teaching prosperity, of doing the work, it's like I still feel like I need it. And if it comes 10 or 20 times with maybe a slightly different word, but the basic idea, I feel the shift starting to happen. Are you starting to feel a shift happen? Any of you? Yeah, some of you are. And some of the ones I've talked to that are facilitating book groups are saying that they're starting to feel something happening here. So stick with it, even if it seems sometimes a little repetitive, because it's the shift that we're after. It's not the intellectual knowing, it's the inner shift that we're after here. So this journey that we're on, that we often go through, is much like the journey of the prodigal son. Do you remember this? You can substitute prodigal daughter, prodigal offspring. It's the idea, right, that there is these two children. And in the case of the story from Luke, they're two brothers, and they have a wealthy father, and they have a comfortable life. And the younger brother longs to go out in the world and explore. And so he goes to his father and he says, "Dad, can I have my inheritance early?" And the father is very generous. He says, "Of course." And he divvies it up between the two boys. And pretty soon the young son starts making his plans to go off to faraway lands. And as he goes and travels off into those faraway lands, he starts having a good time with all that money that he had in his pocket, right? And it runs right through his pocket with all kinds of wild living and squandering of his wealth until there's a famine across the land and he's got no money left. And he's looking around thinking, what in the world am I going to do? So he finds a farmer, and he asks the farmer if he has any work for him, and he ends up feeding the pigs. Now, this is a good Jewish boy feeding the pigs, so keep that in mind too, right? He's hit a low point. And not only that, he is so hungry that when he's giving the pods to the pigs, he's kind of envious. He wants some of those pods. He's so hungry. And he just has a moment. You ever have these moments when you've just hit a low point and it's like a mirror just seems to rise up out of nowhere and you go, what in the world am I doing? How did I get here? It seems like that's the kind of moment he's having in the pigsty. It's just like, and then he says, what am I doing? My father's servants have plenty to eat and more left over, and I'm sitting here starving. why don't I just go home? I mean, I'm unworthy to be his son at this point, but why don't I just go home, apologize, beg forgiveness, and ask if I could live out my life as a servant in his place and in that land. So this is what he plans to do, and he heads back home. And as he's coming toward home, his father happens to be standing out in the fields, and he sees his son. And so what does the father do? Does he admonish him? Does he start yelling stuff? Get away? Does he get out his shotgun? Now we're storytelling. It's true. Yeah, there wasn't one back then, was there? Bow and arrow. Yeah, anyway. Tyler's a storyteller, so like when he makes these little comments, we go off in this land of storytelling together. So anyway, here we are, right? Dad is welcoming the son home, and that is exactly what he does. He opens his arms, he starts moving toward his son, he embraces him, he kisses him. My long-lost son, he was dead, and now he's alive. He was lost, and now he's found. And the boy is like, I'm unworthy to be your son. I've sinned against you. I've sinned against heaven. I am so sorry. And I just, make me one of your servants. And his father's just like, nonsense. And he calls to the servants and he says, bring the best of the robes. Bring him a ring. Bring the fatted calf so that we may celebrate together. And they celebrate the son who has returned home. This is what happens to us when we come home. When we come back, when we return to the land of our soul, when we come back home to source, we are never punished. So don't punish yourself. Anybody ever do that? Yeah, well, I'm a spiritual being. I should have never done that. I should know better. I've been studying this stuff forever. And we get off course, and then when we recognize it, we're terrible to ourselves. But remember instead that the truth is the source, the Spirit, the God is welcoming us back with love and celebration and joy. Thank God my child is back. Thank God my beloved has returned so that I can lavish abundant good upon them, love and joy and everything they could possibly want or need. And all of that I'm personifying in a way, but all of that is in here, right? All of that happens inside your own heart, inside your own being. You know what it feels like when you've drifted away and then you sit down and you have a really good meditation and you go, I'm like a flower that just got watered, right? You know that feeling, right? My mind is finally not so busy and there's just peace. That's what happened. You went back home. You reconnected to your source. That's all that ever really happens, is that we go off on a journey, we forget, we lose sight, we wake up one day, and we go back home. And over we do that. The more we do it, the more the homecoming feels good, and the more often we come home, pretty soon we go, I think I'm just going to stick around. I think I'll just stay in this good juju. And I'm glad you will, because in that space and out of that space is all the abundance that you will co-create. Because it's from there that we create, not out here. We can manifest stuff, we can attract stuff, but it all is happening here. So that's where our focus needs to be. Blind spot number 1 is we are separate from our good and we must get it, achieve it, or attract it. And its countering abundant truth is we are one with all good. We can't add or lose anything. That last part is really important, right? We can't add or lose anything because we sure do start believing that we are busy adding and losing. We're in that game of adding and subtracting. So All good, this idea of all good, we are one with all good, because sometimes we get tripped up on this like it's good and bad, but it means goodness, essentially. And that goodness is however you describe goodness. So it could be freedom, it could be connection, it could be celebration, whatever it is that you're needing and longing for in your life, that's the goodness that you are creating and attracting and generating from. And so coming back to that idea of be still and know that I am is the return to all goodness. And it's from there that it will all spring forth. It's the same place that we go back to if we want to manifest something in the outer, right? If we want to bring to us whatever it is that's in the outer, it's back to that feeling space. It's back to those qualities. And then that outer material thing, whatever it may be, can come to us. If we lose something in the outer world, we haven't lost anything in truth, because we can regenerate again and again and again. So this leads us to blind spot number 2, which is abundance blind spot. Money and material things are wealth. And the abundant truth to that is real wealth is invisible, infinite, and within you. But we sure have been conditioned to believe money and material things equals wealth, haven't we? So this idea does not make money and material things bad. There's nothing wrong with money and material things. Again, it just puts the emphasis on the wrong spot. So they're symbols. Those are symbols of abundance. They are outer manifestations of abundance, but it's not the abundance itself. We want to put our attention on the divine essence. The founders of our country and later the Congress understood these ideals, and they even had it printed on our money. A lot of us don't use cash too much anymore, but next time you do, take a look at the bill again. What does it say? E pluribus unum, out of many, one. That's what the founders came up as the national motto. And later, Congress, I think in the 50s, decided it was in God we trust. Both excellent ideas, right? The trust in God, the faith in God, and the idea of oneness. Out of our beautiful diversity, we are one. So these ideals are actually printed on our money to remind us that it's not the bill itself, it's the qualities that are in it, in us. In the source and out of the source, real wealth and material things come out of invisible, infinite wealth. So Derek Rydell says, when we make an inner connection with the substance of life, it takes form in our experience. But the form is the added thing, not the thing itself. He goes on to say, when we're anchored to the real thing, to the source within us, no matter what seemingly threatens, diminishes, or even destroys the outer form, we can always recreate it out of indestructible, incorruptible reality of our being from which it came. This alone is so valuable to take in. Because if you think about the times in life when you get to that place, maybe you have to file bankruptcy, or maybe you were just told you have a disease, or maybe you're getting a divorce. And when we are going through these things, we think we have lost everything, right? We even say words like that. I lost everything. I lost my home. People going through the storms right now are probably feeling this way that have lost their homes, right? Or even if there's been loss of life. There's just a lot of depth in the feeling place as a human being when we go through these things. And what Derek is trying to show us is that in the outer something went away, but that's temporal. And you can recreate from the inner and rebuild once again, even faster than we may think possible. So if you probably know somebody who's filed bankruptcy before, and now they're wealthy again. they've rebuilt their wealth, right? Do you know anybody who's ever been sick and is whole and well and vital now? Have you ever met anybody, or maybe you are someone who was divorced and never thought you'd have another partner and found love again? Some people even say it was better than the first time. How did it all happen? In here, in this incorruptible, inexhaustible, infinite space of creativity and abundance. Whatever it is that you desire, it's already here. It's hard for our physical minds to imagine that because we're taught over and over that this is reality, right? And it can be a part of our reality, but it's not the real thing. We got to move and get back to and return to the essence of where it all comes from. And we have it available to us 24/7 right here within us. So as we consider all of this, let's move finally into the last one, abundance blind spot number 5, which really addresses something deep, a collective kind of woundedness. And probably the one I'm going to venture to guess that if all of us took a survey, that we would find, a lot of us in this room would find ourselves resonating a bit with this, find ourselves in this blind spot a little bit. It might be a reach, I don't know, you can see as we go into it. The blind spot is money and wealth is not spiritual. Now on the surface you might say, no, it's spiritual. But consider the wounds that are behind that. The worldly power wounds, that when we look around the world and we see people with a lot of money, a lot of status, a lot of worldly power who have dominated, controlled, harmed humans, animals, the planet, seems like they don't care about anyone but themselves. Have you ever put that together? I know I have, out of the woundedness of this and my own blind spot, I have put together that having a lot of money means greed, means this kind of behavior. It's unconscious, of course. It doesn't make sense when you start to, line it out. It's like, what? Well, that's not true. But if you're living from that unconscious space, that unconscious belief, it can be very insidious, right? And so recognizing then that, and what happened for me was when that became clear that I was holding that kind of belief system, I said, wait a second though, there's tons of people with a lot of money who are super generous, doing all kinds of good things in the world. And I thought, wow, I'd like to be one of those people. Well, I can't be one of those people if I'm holding this belief that money and wealth isn't spiritual, and so I'm going to hold it at arm's length, right? So it's until we make friends with this idea that we can welcome it in so that we have it to give out. Yeah, so my affirmation became, I am wealthy and generous, to come into that flow and to let go of this false belief. So I don't know what yours is, but there are other wounds that go with this one, such as religious wounds. The idea that anything earthly is less than, right? The body is less than, the flesh is less than. We've heard that one before in old teachings. That money is evil, which is a misquote. It's the love of money in that quote, but it's really about just misplacing our attention and our energy. So all of these ideas, maybe you've thought, maybe you're a healer or somebody who does spiritual work and you think you shouldn't have to charge because it's spiritual work. Anybody ever do that one? Or it should be deeply discounted because it's spiritual work. Or maybe spiritual centers and places shouldn't talk about money or ask for money because they should just offer everything for free all the time. I mean, these don't make sense when we put them out in the light, but we carry them. And we bring a lot of energy and power that drains the true power by holding them. So this work is about shifting. This work is about shaking out, letting go of these places. As soon as they're illuminated, we can move on. We can go, wow, that's interesting that I was holding that idea. I don't want to hold that idea anymore. I'm going to shift. You want to do the 1-minute mystic exercise? This comes from the book, and it helps us kind of get a sense of how you move through this. So if you'd like to do it, I offer you a moment to close your eyes. And just to bring to mind a life circumstance where you might feel a little bit bound up, let's say. A place that you might go into some limitation around. And as you feel into some of those feelings of maybe lack or limitation or fear, just know that you're in a blind spot. Just take a breath, remind yourself that you can get out of this blind spot. Whatever condition is confronting you, imagine yourself getting what you need, experiencing the outcome that you want. And now really feel that as reality. I already have this that I want or need. And breathe and let that feeling tone, whatever you feel as you receive, let it expand through your heart center. Let it expand through your whole body. Radiate that feeling out into your life and everyone and everything around you. And in this vibration of abundance, see if there's an affirmation you can speak for yourself, an already realized truth statement. And when you're ready, come back into this space. So anytime you can take a 1 minute time out and just feel into what's going on inside of you. Notice if you're in a blind spot. And then feel your way and affirm your way out of it. It's really that simple. And when we engage multiple aspects of our being like this, our feeling nature, the power of the spoken word, our imagination, all of these work together for good to let us ground in that and recreate that as our reality. So, what is money? As we talk about wealth this week, what is money? Essentially, money is energy. And we can infuse it with positive energy, or we can infuse it with negative energy. But if we infuse it with negative energy, remember, we'll be in that place where we're holding it at arm's length, or further out even, right? That if it's negative, then I don't want it, I don't want to have it, I don't want to give it, I don't want to receive it. That's basically what we're telling the universe, right? Or telling our internal source. If we infuse it with positive energy, that's great. But what if we just don't even infuse it with anything, but just let it be energy? Because that's what it is. It's just energy. Who doesn't want more energy? Anybody in this room think, I wish I didn't have so much energy? Right. So we want to increase energy. It's a good thing in and of itself. And how do we increase anything? We praise it, right? We bless it. That's how it multiplies. We give thanks for it. So that's the way we can treat money. just recognizing its energy, it's moving through our lives, it's moving to us and from us, and we just bless it and thank it. That's all we need to do. All the other gymnastics that we do around money can go away. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be hard. It can just be, I go to my heart. I go to that place where I generate good. And from that place, I bring forth whatever I need, whenever I need it. I know it sounds too good to be true, but it really is true. And just remembering that having less money does not help anyone. Right? Isn't that a good one to know? Having less money doesn't actually help anyone. And having more money doesn't hurt anyone. So it's not a bad thing. I guess I got to just keep saying this one to myself because I'm still learning. So Rydell says, well, let's look at both. Did we look at the abundant truth with it? I don't think we did. Money and wealth is not spiritual, is the blind spot. Wealth is an attribute of spirit, truth, or God. He says, imagine who you could become if you knew all wealth and abundance was within you. Infinite, inexhaustible, unconditional. Imagine who you would become if you really, really, really lived from that truth. I mean, that sounds fun, doesn't it? I am imagining all kinds of things right now that I would love to manifest. Yeah, you are too. Candy's there too, right? Anybody else there? Are you starting to say, wow? Yeah, feels pretty good, doesn't it? And there it is, merely awaiting our activation, merely awaiting our expression, merely awaiting a word from us that says, I'm home, I'm grounded, I've come back, I'm sitting in spirit, I remember who I am now, I'm in my lane, and my lane is to be a creator because I was brought here from the creation itself to be a creator. It's my purpose in life to create, to generate goodness, to bring forth abundance. Having less does not help anyone. Having more does not hurt anyone. And so let's bring on more so we can share more and lift up the world in that kind of energy. Not more stuff necessarily, but more harmony, more peace, more joy, more love, more freedom, all the things we wish for ourselves and everyone around us. So let's open the floodgates, shall we, of abundant good? Are you up for it? You good with it? Yes, I am too. I'm ready for it. We'll illuminate those abundance blind spots and reverse them. We'll heal these deep collective wounds, and that doesn't have to be big, arduous work. Even when I say it out loud, I think, oh, then we all just start to go, oh, yeah, that sounds like really big stuff. No. This is not hard. It's not hard when we are when we are standing in the right place. It becomes easy. That's all we have to do is stand in the right place. And then we can see clearly, we can feel, we can know, and we can start to co-create just as we were created to do. So I really want to encourage us to be unapologetic about abundance. Be unapologetic about your divine birthright to have, to give, to receive, because it's why you're here. So come home to that truth. Return again to the land of your soul. And in the land of your soul is a land that flows with milk and honey, right? It's a land that flows with all goodness and all sweetness and everything you could ever possibly need. And how many people in the world or causes have you longed to help? And you've thought, oh, I've wanted to give more to that, but I just don't have enough. Wipe it out of your vocabulary because you do, because you have it in here and you have everything you could possibly, we have everything we could possibly ever need. All we got to do is turn, shift our perspective, and recognize Wow, the creative power of the universe is within me. And imagine, as a community, as a society, what we could do when we recognize that individually and collectively. When we come together as a group and we say, anything is possible. Because it's true. That's truth. And we can land in truth. It's the permanent truth. It's the ongoing flow of divine truth. And we are in it. And when we get out of it, no beating ourselves up. Remember, there's the source, running to embrace us, to kiss us, to welcome us home, to celebrate that we've come home again to this truth. So let's be unapologetic and claim this for ourselves. I invite us to say this together. I am unapologetically one with the source of infinite wealth. So you are, and so it is.
Well, what do you think, Laurel?
Thank you, Reverend Kristen. And just to remind us, having more doesn't hurt anyone. Having less doesn't help anyone. We are unapologetically one with the source of infinite wealth. And so it is. Our prayer chaplains are available after the service to provide personal prayer support. If you're a prayer chaplain serving today, would you please stand? Our prayer chaplains wear the lavender stoles.
Whether you have a joy or a concern on your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a powerful way of having your intentions lifted up in consciousness.
Thank you. Well, we are so grateful for you. For you. You have really stepped up. So thanks to the guidance of our Board of Trustees, we knew what was needed to meet our financial goals, and you are coming through with flying colors. Hear, hear. You are truly amazing, and I want to extend a heartfelt thanks to everyone who made a pledge to date. Your support means so much to us.
So, for those of you who are wondering what this pledge is all about, in the seat pockets in front of you, you have a little card. It's a 15% pledge card. This card contains all the details you need, and if you feel moved to make the pledge, please fill out the card and drop it in the basket with the offering. Thank you again for your generosity and for your commitment to the well-being and abundance of this community.
And now, let us open our hearts to the practice of giving. Woo-hoo! We celebrate and cheer that because we know in our heart of hearts that the laws of the universal laws of circulation are true. As we give, we shall receive. In truth, there is no lack or limitation. Abundance is our true nature.
And for your convenience, there are a variety of ways that you can financially support this community, which is shown on the screen in front of you. And for those of you watching online, there's a donate button on the Watch Live page of our website. We encourage everyone to set up automatic bill pay with your bank's free service.
And now I invite you to take your tithe or offering in your hand and repeat our affirmation with me. Together.
Divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful. And now for some great music.
Sharper. Don't worry this morning, rise with the morning sun. 3 little birds stoop by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, full and true. This is my message to you. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, rise with the morning sun. 3 little birds stoop by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. This is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Go back to it. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Every little thing is gonna be alright.
What a great song to end on. Thank you. Abundant good, right? Symbols of abundance that we have collected here to remind us of our power to give and to receive and to share in the abundant goodness of community, of each other, of our lives, of the source itself. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God, for the overflowing good that we witness now from within ourselves. And let's bless it together, knowing we keep remembering this truth. We give thanks for the ever-increasing, constant flow of absolute good in our lives now. So it is. Let's sing our children in, shall we?
You give me that F there?
That's it.
Okay, here we go. We got it. We are a circle of love. Is that right? We are a circle of light. Come join the circle of love. Come join the circle of light. The light in you and the light in me are one. The light in you and the light in me are one. Oh yeah.
Good morning and happy Sunday, everybody. Today was all about fall and the leaves, and I'm going to pass this on.
Today we did leaf rubbing.
Pass it on, Tyler.
Apparently, that's all they did. So today in Uniteens, we made some cool little license plates, and I'm going to let them talk about what they made. So.
So the question was, or the statement was, make a license plate and think of what power you're gonna put on it, and think of your superpower name. So my power is telekinesis, and the way I can help it with people is maybe telling them, like, if they're having a hard time, I could tell them, Spirit is always there with you? My power is shape-shifting, and my name is Jules the Shifter. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I didn't have it. We learned about how God will always be there, and we might not hear him, but he's always there.
I couldn't have said it better myself, so I'm going to stand on what they just said.
Well, let's bless our teachers, our youth, and our children together. Children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you.
All right, we're going to sing our closing song. Please rise in body or in spirit. And you can take this in through your heart. If you like to hold hands, check with your neighbor and see if they want to hold hands. Okay. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever you are, God is. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever you are, God is. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. And all is well.
You are the light and the love and the abundance on earth right now. So let your light shine. Have fun and spread joy.